Hi, I'm Rocket, and welcome to another Whiteboarding with Rocket. In today's session, I'm going to cover another use case for whiteboarding. In this case, I'm going to talk about capturing a whiteboard and then sharing it for collaboration or communication. This is a very effective way to do remote whiteboarding and get a message across. You can draw something, take a picture of it, get it out there into the world, have people annotate it with whatever drawing tools they use, and evolve it into getting to a final product that could be a diagram, an architecture diagram. It could be something in Photoshop or Illustrator or PowerPoint. It could go lots of different ways. I use this a lot. I get a lot of requests to take a picture of the whiteboards I make and share them. And so I'll end up putting them in Quip, putting them in email, sending them via text, lots of different ways. Now, one of the keys to capturing and sharing your whiteboard is getting an app or some process that cleans it up. You can just take a picture of a whiteboard using a regular iPhone camera or your Android camera, and you're going to get this gray background. It's going to be kind of painful to see, and it's very difficult to insert. It's not difficult to insert into a PowerPoint, but what you lose is the feeling of it being a natural part of the PowerPoint. You know it's a separate thing. Now, if you could find an app, and there's several of them out there, and I'll cover a few in this, that takes that grayish background and brightens it up, gets a nice white balance, nice crisp characters, it is incredibly effective. All right, so let's talk about the steps involved and some of the options. And really, look, the main purpose of capturing and sharing a whiteboard is so that you can get it out there and communicate and collaborate with others. Now, I recognize I've gone back and listened to a few of these videos that I've done around the use cases, and I think I've used both capture and share as meaning this one idea of taking a picture of a whiteboard rather than doing a live whiteboarding or a recording of a whiteboard. So the first thing you need, of course, is a whiteboard. It is something that you've drawn on. Now, this could be a physical whiteboard. It could also be a digital whiteboard. Same things apply to both. I'm going to focus on the physical one. So you need a camera, some kind of camera. Now, there's lots of different options here. The most effective one is your phone. And there's lots of tricks you can do to share your camera, your photos. So this is an exploration. I'll put a few of the ideas in the show notes so you can find out what works for you. I've used a dozen of these things, maybe more over the years. There's the Microsoft Office 3, the Office thing with getting a document scan with, there's OneNote has some capabilities there. I basically once a year, I will cycle back in and look at some of those apps to see if they've removed some of the rough edges. OneNote does a great job capturing a document, and you can even use document to capture a whiteboard. And that's where I tend to go, is I'll use the document scanner, take a picture of option on any of these apps and use it to get the whiteboard, and it does a pretty decent job. What I found with OneNote and the Microsoft options is it will try and take your drawing and make it a vector image. And it becomes really cumbersome and large to deal with. Now, if it's a complicated drawing and you want to be able to manipulate it after the fact, that's actually a really great option. Now, I tend to be like, okay, I'm going to take a picture of this, and if I need to annotate it, I'll use Snagit or one of the other drawing apps on the computer to make the adjustments. Simple as PowerPoint. In some cases, if you want to put some annotation over the top of it, that's an easy way to do it. Let's come back to this and say, you've got your camera, your photo, you take your photo, and you need some kind of processing to clean it up. I've covered that just now, and there's a bunch of different options here, and they range from pretty straightforward to very complex. Then you want to share it. So then you need to get it to a place where you can insert it into your PowerPoint, into your Word document, your Quip document, your find it into your diagramming tools of choice, put it out on Slack, etc. Now, an interesting thing that I've done over the years, especially when I've taken an idea that started on a whiteboard and it needed to evolve over time, is I'll take the initial picture on the whiteboard and then in PowerPoint or some other diagramming thing, I'll start taking sections of the image and replacing it with the diagrams. This creates this interesting hybrid look where part of it is whiteboard drawing and part of it is nice clean lines. And that can have a nice effect at times. At some point it becomes too cumbersome to keep the complete whiteboard and it just gets replaced by the diagram. There's a whole bunch of psychological things about whiteboards. If you've got good handwriting and good drawing skills, that can make a much more approachable image and can convey a lot more information than a clean, crisp diagram can. So that's a trade-off. It's something you'll have to think about how you want to use this when you're going through this process. All right, I think that's it for capturing and sharing whiteboards. I'm Rocket. This has been another Whiteboarding with Rocket.